Back in the day, if you wanted that long, lean, real chopper stance, you threw on a set of extended forks. And today, I'm taking my 1985 Sportster to the next level, and we're gonna stretch the front end 6 inches, old school style. I'm old school, and this is vintage Harleys revived. So I guess that answers the question, to chop or not to chop. I'm going to turn this thing into a northern Indiana lane splitter that I can sprint 100 miles to anywhere I want to go this summer. That means we're going to stretch the front end 6 inches, going to raise the tank, going to take anything off of it doesn't need to go fast, and but leave the suspension and not chop the frame. So I guess if it ever had to go back, it could. But the bike will ride well in those springtime chuck holes here in Indiana. So we got to get it lifted up so the front end's up off the ground and we've got everything secured and we're ready to pull the front end off of it. So we'll throw something in here to catch this brake fluid, unhook the line, and open up the master cylinder, pump as much of it out as we can, let it drip while we're working on the rest of it. We're going to need to take the speedometer cable loose. On this year bike, there was a drive unit on the front axle. So, man, that bottom bolt was tight on that caliper. Set it down so it can drain and take the front axle out of it. Now there's a set of pinch bolts here that bolt this front axle onto the bottom of these forks. So once you get these 4 nuts loose, the whole thing just comes out as a unit. It's pretty slick, actually. So that gives me a chance to kind of look at it sitting probably about 6 inches up from where it normally sits, and I like the look. Now, I kind of laid out what I thought I might need as far as tools. I use my new JIS screwdriver on that. Even if it's not JIS, it works great. Take all these bolts out. Now here on this bottom tree, there's 2 pinch bolts that pinch around that fork tube, and I'm driving a screwdriver in there to kind of spread it out. Now be careful here. These are under spring tension. When they kind of pop. Just kind of keep your finger on it. It's not going to hurt you. As I look here, because, man, these things are tight. And so I kind of looked at the manual to make sure I'm doing it the way it's supposed to be done, and it appears that I am. So pop the other cap off, because those caps have a washer that goes over the triple tree, and the forks won't come out without those caps off. At this point, I realize I'm not getting these forks out. They're not even moving without driving them out. So I've got to take the handlebars off, and then I got a socket that is exactly the right size and just popped it. As soon as I popped it, it came loose, and then I worked it out of the bottom tree. So I just kind of lightly screwed that cap back on that so it wouldn't leak, and put it up on the bench. So I'll go over on the other side, do the same thing. And it was quite a bit harder, man. I had to hit that thing pretty hard, and then I get to the bottom here, and the thing doesn't want to come any farther. Again, I drive that big Harbor Freight screwdriver up in that slot, and it pulls right out of there without a problem. Now, put the caps back on. I just don't want things coming apart. Don't want them leaking up on the bench. And there we go. The front end is off, and this section of what we have to do is done. So I ordered a kit from TC Brothers 6 over, no affiliation, and it comes with everything. The forks say Japan, where the fender bolts on the lowers, and I did some research. It's late 1984-85, it looks like, when they switched to narrow front ends. So drain everything out best I can here. The oil looks like crap, man. Nobody changes their oil. I don't even change my fork oil. So just kind of wiping things down and getting ready here. Now we need a 6mm Allen to fit this bolt in the bottom of these fork lowers. And I tell you what, just a regular Allen wrench didn't do it. I ended up with a socket with a 6mm on a 3/8 ratchet, and that got it done. I'm going to take this seal off and remove that 6mm Allen head from the bottom completely, and then you just kind of yank them like this, and it pops that seal right out of the top of them. So I'll pull these seals off, take that lower extension seal where it bolts on, and then just drop it down and out. Take these bushings off, and all of a sudden, here it is. I got the wrong fork tubes. I find out there's a 1.5 year period where they were different, and they're twice as much, of course. So here we are 1 week later. I've got the 6/0 fork tubes for a 1985 Sportster, which were super hard to find and double the cost, more than double the cost. So here we go. We're gonna put the tubes together and get the front end back together. So I begin an inventory of everything that we took off last week, making sure everything's good to go back together, inventorying my new parts. Get out my 6/0 fork tubes, and they look awesome. Compare it to the old one that I have out. They are significantly longer. Again, the process is, just verifying that all the old parts are good, and then starting to lay out all the new parts. And we're going to bring all this together as we reassemble these fork tubes. Now that I've got my parts inventoried, I'm looking at getting everything cleaned up so we can reassemble. Use some brake clean down in this fork slider. I found some rod to shove that piece of paper towel in and out of there a few times, and then resprayed it until I was pretty satisfied. It's not an engine, but it needs to be clean. So install the shock absorber tube and rebound spring down the new fork tubes. I used the rod that I had with the paper towel and a screwdriver to guide it in. Snapped on this lower bushing, and then put on the oil lock. At this point, I grabbed the manual, open it up to the page that has the parts breakdown for the front forks, and open it up so I can reference it. We've got new parts, so we're going to use them. We're going to take the drain plug out, put a new sealing washer and a new drain plug in, new sealing washer on the 6mm bolt that goes into the shock absorber tube, new O-rings on the cap bolt, and then install the new fork tube into the fork slider. All right, we're gonna put this 6mm bolt in kind of loose, gonna slip this upper bushings over the new fork tubes and use the spacer seal as a way to guide this down in so we don't hurt the bushing, and it'll bottom out when we're done. Now I take my installer and just hammer on that until it's all the way down in. This $2 piece of 1¼ inch PVC from the hardware store is a Harley specialty tool now. So that seal is directional. Put the beveled edge in first, and then we're going to use our new Harley specialty tool. It doesn't take near as much as getting the bushing in. The James gasket snap ring is a lot more substantial than the wire one that came on these factory, and it's hard to get in there, but you can do it. And it's secure both directions. It's not coming apart. We'll put the new dust seal on, and we're ready for fluid. 6.4 ounces dry. I'm using AMSOIL, fork oil, whatever you got on hand. Pour it in there, drop the spring in, and we're going to use a 6-inch PVC spacer so we don't have to change the springs, and the fork rate stays the same. I put the cap bolt on, test it, and it works. And my dog says, well, I wonder what the hell he's so excited about. So I repeat the process with the other one and begin to clean everything up, wipe it down. I'm not going to put that chrome cap back on there. Get in here with some Scotch-Brite, get these things clean so they won't scrape up the chrome, and they'll get up in there nice and easy. So the first one I run up in there, and I'm trying to get the cap bolt in, I'm going to tell you what, it was everything I could do to be against that spring and get it started with the threads. When I got the second one, I realized all I got to do is hold the cap bolt in and spin the fork so much easier. So go ahead and tighten the top caps up to spec and cut loose these handlebars that I'm gonna replace. And you know what? We wired up this tack and I'm not gonna use it. So we'll throw these up here just to get them out of the way, to keep the tension off the wires, so we can get a look at what we've ended up with. Putting everything back together with the hardware that I have on hand, knowing that when we do the final tear down and reassembly, we'll have all new hardware in a lot of places, making it look cohesive front to back. But I just want to get the front tire back on. These pinch bolts are marked left and right on the bottom, so we put the wheel up there, and I think, you know, instead of trying to hold it up, it seems a lot easier just to lower it down onto the wheel. Put the pinch bolts on, throw the nuts on there, kind of tighten it up a little bit. Now realize I'm not torquing anything. We're putting back together so that we can blow it back apart and do all the finishes. Not terribly sweating that it's perfectly tight at the moment. I set the tank and the seat up there, lower the rear end to where it's going to be with the new shocks, and finally get a look at the transformation. So here it is done, a step-by-step guide on how to do front forks, 6-inch over in this case. Man, I am so fired up, I can't hardly contain myself. I love the way this looks. We've set the bike down to the height that's gonna be in the back, put the tank and stuff on it. Man, this thing is gonna be sweet. We're gonna call it, and we're gonna coin a new term. This is the Indiana lane splitter. It's gonna have narrow ape hangers. It's gonna be narrow from front to back, and I am fired up, man. Stay with me on these next few videos as we complete this transformation, and we're running strong for spring. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Vintage Harleys Revive.